Hey, Tokyo. Hold on, I'm gonna pause this real quick because that joint last night, I looked at it and I was like, "This was crazy. This is an amazing season."
Yeah.
Because I don't think I was prepared for it at all. Like I kind of knew it was gonna be pretty epic, but I didn't know it was gonna like hit like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Like when to see Takamichi, well, he's up there, and I was like, okay, well, he's in the gang. Did he actually pull it off? And I was like, nah, he didn't pull it off. If he pulled it off, the story would kind of basically be over unless they gave you like a big twist. So to see that he's one of the top guys in there, I'm like, okay.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking, where's Mikey? You
Where's
know,
Draken?
where's
Right,
Draken? Where all
right.
them cats is? So when I start seeing them all, I'm like, okay, that's a bet. But then we never see Mikey. Mikey's, hold up.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, typical Mikey doing his thing. Okay. So when
Hmm.
I saw Kisaki still in there, I was like, crap.
Right, right.
I was like,
You
he's
knew,
still
you knew.
here.
Yeah,
I was like, if he's still there, then there's absolutely no way this is gonna go the
the
way
way
it
that they
should.
hope. Right.
And then as soon as he was like, "Can I talk to you, you and Chiruki for a minute?" I was like, "Oh, this about to be bad."
I think they're dumb for even drinking anything behind this man because it's kind of like, yeah, you've been it's been 12 years, but granted, they knew back then, this man set up the deaths of all these people, and
Hmm.
so if it was me, I wouldn't have drunk nothing. But I was like, he ain't even drinking the drink. What y'all doing?
Right.
But
Like when I saw that, I was like, when he gave that whole little, I changed, I've seen the error of my ways, that I was like, I'm calling BS on this real fast. And when he poured them the drink, I was like, don't be stupid and drink it, because I still
right,
don't trust this cat. And when they drank it and he didn't touch it at all, I was like,
y'all
oh
are
yeah,
done.
he just drugged them. I knew that was the case.
Right.
And the thing was, it would have been, I was actually gonna give Takamichi an out, because I'm like, yo, you're back here in the present, you don't know what's happened, da da da. But the minute I saw that he was not the head of Toman, I was like, dude, and Kisaki was still there, I would have been like, you know what? I gotta go. I'm out.
Right. Right. There's no way I would sit there and trust being around that cat. There's
Right.
no
I would have
way.
been like, I had to go find Naoto. I need to go back and I need to keep moving, because if I see that dude, there's no way anything I wanted could have gone right. Because if I'm going to be the top guy of Toman, Kisaki can't be there. Period.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
Yeah, I think he was just thrown off, honestly, because he's used to what his life was. And I think that he was kind of like he didn't think it would reflect that way. Like he would have like a little bit of power, like had his own driver,
Right.
like have all these execs.
Because
Um,
who was that with him in the car?
that was his
That
homeboy with
wasn't
the glasses with his
that was
crew. I
trying to
forget.
remember. Yeah, that was the dude from his. That wasn't Akun, right?
No, no, no. It was the
Nah,
other dude, the
yeah,
geeky
it was
guy with the
another cat
glasses.
from. It was another cat. Oh, it was the cat that broke down all the gangs for him, right?
Right.
Right. It was
Exactly.
him. So he got his whole immediate squad in the gang. So yeah, I was like, okay, cool. Everything's going the way it should. But as soon as I saw Kisaki, because even if he wasn't the top guy, I'm like, all right, as long as everybody else is still there, we good. Soon
Right.
as I saw Kisaki, I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
nope, it's
Yeah.
not for you. You got to go back in time. It's not for you, dog. As long as Kisaki is there, living and breathing, it's a wrap.
Right. And it's kind of like even the way that it ended, honestly, like with Kisaki effectively shooting old boy in the head,
Mm-hmm.
putting a bullet in your boy Takamichi's leg,
Leg.
and then
Yeah.
pointing the gun at his head and being like, "Is that all you really have?" And it's kind of like it's almost like I don't know if he was expecting Takamichi to do something. It felt like he knew something more than what
Yeah, I think Takamichi, not Takamichi, I'm sorry. I think
Kisaki.
Kisaki is I think Kisaki is either aware but can't confirm that Takamichi can go through time.
Yeah, I mean,
Because as soon
honestly,
as he said, "Is that all you have?" I was like, "Is there something else you aware of that?"
right.
And honestly, I don't think he shot. I mean, we heard the shot at the end, but I don't think he shot him in the face. I don't think he shot him. I think somebody else might have come in there and stopped it.
Yeah, I do think that somebody did come there and stop it, and I honestly feel like it was your boy that went to prison. Um, Kaza,
Uh,
Kaza.
Kazutora,
Yeah, I think that. Remember, they said it literally. He's like, I think I'm gonna be here like 11 to 12 years, and I was like, okay, it's 12-year jump.
right?
He already knows a bunch. Now, mentally, he wasn't good, but then
Hmm.
after what happened for
Right,
Baji's sacrifice, his mind went back to where it needed to. And
right,
so I was like, he's gonna want to protect Toman at any by any means by any means. And
right.
so
The enemy is necessary. Yep.
I think that he'll
Oh,
probably be the one
camera.
to jump in there for real,
Yeah,
for
he
real.
might be the one. He might be the one to save him for sure. I'm just like,
Because didn't
why
they
is this?
say that Draken was like killed or what did he say? Draken was
Draken wasn't
eh,
killed. Remember, Draken was isn't Draken in jail now?
no, 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 no. So
Are
I'm
you
talking
talking
about
about?
the very when he came back. Kisaki was like, yeah, Mikey's been gone for X amount of time, and Draken has been executed. And so
Oh, right. That's right.
I was like, flip. And it's kind of like we
Right.
still haven't seen Mikey in present day. Yo, can you imagine what Mikey's like in present day though? For real, for
Mikey's a beat, probably a beast in present day, man. Like
real.
Mikey's I'm hoping Mikey is still a beast in present day because I think if Mikey shows back up for and here's the thing, the reason why I think they'll probably won't show Mikey in present day until much later on is because remember the goal is to get uh uh
Takamichi to be the head of Toman.
Takamichi to be head of Toman, which
Yeah.
means, and remember, he said not only would he become head of Toman, but he would get Mikey to recognize him. So I don't think the story's really going to end until Takamichi is head of Toman and Mikey is there to recognize him, which means he has to save everybody. He has to save Akun. He has to save, um, what's my man's name that got shot in the head? Was it Chiruki?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on a sec.
No, you good. Yeah, so you guys, I think I'm gonna probably post this. This will be my unofficial spoiler review of season one of Tokyo Revengers because I'm posting up my review for the last episode, but I was like, okay, well, we're having a good discussion now. We might as well just post this up. Um
Sorry about that.
Kazutora. Nah, you good, dude. You're good.
Yeah. So I think that's the end goal. I think that's the supreme cataclysmic attack on Titan, Tokyo Revenger ending. Takamichi got to be at the top. Mikey's got to be there. Draken's got to be there. You know,
I've got a
his main squad's got to be there. All them cats got to be there, except and Kisaki's got to be gone, like executed and gone. Because if Kisaki is still living, he's gonna try to strategically make his way to do something against Toman and make it worse. And I think at the end of all of that, Hina is going to live, but he may not be able to be with her because he's in a criminal organization.
so okay, so I don't read mangas before the anime, so I have no
Me
idea.
neither.
But
Yeah.
I really feel like this is what's going to happen by the end of the second season. I think by the end of second season, present day, Takamichi is going to become the head of Toman. Draken and your boy
Mikey.
Mikey are going to be alive next to him. But this is what I feel like is going to happen. I feel like Kizuki is going to find a way out of it without dying, and he's going to be the rival gang. Because the thing is, that what made me realize that is the last three episodes, I was like, yo, Kizuki legit had two organizations under his thumb at 15. Like he was
Right.
playing everything.
Yeah, he was
without
playing
really
chess
doing
while
it.
everybody was playing checkers for sure.
So it's like as strong as Mikey is, as much as everybody rallies behind Mikey, this man Kizaki's advantage is his freaking mind. And so it
Right.
wouldn't be nothing for him to have a whole nother organization built up. And that's not saying that he has the same ability as Takamichi, but imagine he did. 12 years later, he could have a whole nother organization that is 10 times worse than what Toman is.
Right.
And so I think that by the second season, I think that he's gonna get to the top, but I think that Kizuki is gonna be on the rival side. And I think that there's gonna be a war. Because I think to me, what would be more interesting is a present day war coming from
Hmm.
off of their past.
Right.
Because
But the only way that works in that whole entire scenario
mhm,
is if Hina is alive. And you can't tell me that Kisaki, who has already orchestrated her death
multiple times at this
multiple
time.
times, if Kisaki is still living and breathing, even if it works out that Takamichi is the head of Toman and everything works out the way he wants, you can't tell me Kisaki is not going to find a way, excuse me, to kill Hina just to get at Takamichi. And if that happens, it just cancels everything out. He's going to keep going back until he can get that result. And the only way you truly get that result is Kisaki has to die.
I agree.
Kisaki has to die. Now,
I
it would
so
be great to have a turf war in the present day. It really would. It really, really would. It'd be very interesting. But the only way that happens is if Kisaki ends up killing Hina, which would start a gang war. And um there's nothing
that Takamichi
um
do.
there's nothing Takamichi could do about it.
Right.
And the only way that happens is if he can't go back, because no matter, even if the flow of time is going, there's still that 12-year gap until the present day where she could die. So he
Yeah.
still has opportunities to change things. So I
Yeah.
don't see a current day gang war going on as long as he can go back in time and save Hina, which was his whole entire objective to begin with.
It
So if
was.
him, right, so if him being head of Toman doesn't work, he's gonna go back and try to change it. And the only real factor that gets him what he wants, even if he's not head of Toman, Kisaki has to die. That's
So,
that's really what it is.
so
Kisaki has to go because there's nobody else that is more like, even dude that beat him to a pulp with a bat told him this dude is pure evil.
yeah.
You know, because not only did he say that, but he said this man took him from being a low life to being the head of an area in a year.
Yep.
And as
Yep.
much as Draken was like, Valhalla was the head of Valhalla was Mikey, I was like, no. The
Yeah.
head of Valhalla was Kisaki,
Yep.
organizing it for Valhalla and Toman to merge so he can make it into a big criminal organization that he could also eventually take over, getting Mikey out
Yep.
the way using Draken and Baji and all that to send him over the edge and be gone. Because
Yeah.
he's not like he wasn't already away from the edge anyway because of what happened to Shinichiro.
Yeah.
So he was already 2 steps away. He just needed to lose someone else that was truly close to him.
Yeah.
So which we already saw. So the only really way that this works, period, Kisaki has to die.
So okay, so I'm gonna give you two different wrinkles, and we could talk about it because
Mhm.
one wrinkle is if Natal dies, present day, that's it.
If Naoto, right,
There's no way for him to go back. Like, say Kizuki realizes, oh, this is how you're doing this. Cool. I'm not gonna kill your girlfriend. I'm just gonna stop you from being able to change any of this. Now what?
here's
And
the thing. Here's the thing though. Does Kisaki, here's the truth though. Strategically, does Kisaki want that smoke? Because remember, Naoto is a police officer. And I
yeah,
don't care where you are. I don't care where you are. Unless you are truly the boss of all bosses, which in this particular case would be Toman, would be Takamichi, right? I don't know if he want that smoke. because
But
because no matter where you are, no matter what you do, you go after a police officer, yo, cops is no holds barred.
I
Unless you are so your stuff is so deeply ingratiated into the cops that they like, yo, you just can't touch him.
so remember going back to was it episode 3, 4, and then they talked about it again later on, like episode 14 or something like that. After the poster funeral, this man Kizuki, Naoto's former predecessor, was legit executed, and a message was left in his eyeball, and he was a cop. And the only reason why Naoto has the position he's got is because initially they thought that Mikey did it, and then you find out no, Kizuki is the one that. So no, he's got the cops, and
Yeah,
he's more
he
than willing to kill
orchestrated
the
all of
cop.
that. He
So,
does have the cops. So
so
so my thing is though is that if Kisaki, and this is my point, if Kisaki had any indication that Takamichi could go through time, which would be kind of the reason he made the statement at the end of the season, I would find it very hard to believe that he did not do enough strategic research to know that Naoto is the trigger,
the catalyst, yeah,
is
yeah,
the catalyst. Because at
yeah.
that point, if I'm him and I can figure out this dude go through like Akun figured it out.
He
But
didn't
Akun didn't figure out what the trigger was or anything. Akun just knows
knows that
he
he
could
has
comfortably
ability.
jump,
Yeah,
like Akun comfortably jumped off that building because he had faith that Takamichi was going to go back in
and fix
time
it. Hmm.
and fix it, which he ended up doing, which ended up being Akun now killing Hina, even though it was under duress.
Right,
So, but at the same time, he can, at the same time, Kisaki has some indication of it because Kisaki has made multiple attempts now
right,
with Akun to
right,
try to take out Takamichi because there was no reason for him to push Takamichi off the train unless Kisaki, like my thought is it's one of those
mm,
Voldemort prophecy Harry Potter type joints. Like I think Kisaki was aware of it, which is why he went after Takamichi in the first place. But by going after Takamichi, he kind of kicked everything off for Takamichi to do what he does. Had he
right,
just left Takamichi alone to his miserable life, working in the video store, Takamichi wouldn't be a threat.
right,
You know, I think by him doing that, he kind of kickstarted it because I think Kisaki has some awareness of uh, Takamichi's abilities, but I just don't, I think he's handling it a very Voldemort way. Like he's trying to take him out because he knows by taking him out, nothing can change between the past and present. So he's going after the person who can do it instead of going after the person that can be the catalyst for it. You
right.
know. So
Yeah,
that's what that.
it's just so okay. There's one other wrinkle that I wanted to bring to your attention. So this, I'll just go
Hmm.
ahead and get to it really
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
Where are you?
I was going to ask you about it anyway.
Right here. Why?
Right, right. Why did he
Why?
cry? Why
Why?
did he cry?
Like what? I don't understand. And it's like this is the first time this entire season
Well,
he
we seen
showed
this dude
any
cry for
kind of
anything.
emotion
Emotion.
at
Period.
all. Like it's a
Period.
smile, it's you're dead, or it's just stone cold.
So my thought, I was thinking about that too, and I was thinking two things. I'm gonna give you two sub wrinkles to that wrinkle. I think part of it was Kisaki being was BS, and Kisaki has some awareness that um Takamichi can go through time, right?
Mhm.
That's one, and he's just trying to take him out in order to prevent it. The other piece of me thinks that he actually did means what he said, about the whole family thing and all that.
Mhm.
I think within the 12 years, I think he may have actually bonded with these guys and he probably didn't want he probably had some form of proof, or either he had some form of proof that they were the mole or he's the mole and he knows he has to kill them
There's another option. Yeah.
so he could avoid being caught, but he might have such an emotional thing with them over the past 3 years that he feels bad about doing it,
Right.
you know. But he's doing it anyway. Those were my two thoughts about the tier, about the glory tier, as I call it.
Yeah, it's some kind of emotional connection to Takamichi, and I mean, like you said, I mean, what came to my head was that you know what, because of what Takamichi's done, they're legit bonded through this. Like, but because
Right,
the weird thing was, it's kind of like, why wait today to do this? 12 years to the day that Takamichi's supposed to come back. You feel me?
right,
Like
right.
it's like 12 exact years to
Yeah,
the day, and it's like, oh, okay, this is the day that Takamichi got indicted in being the number one captain, and then the symmetry is somebody says there's a mole, and it's
right,
like, oh well, I'm gonna take these two guys over and kill them.
right.
And I can't even remember who was the person that said that there was a mole. I don't remember who said that.
I can't remember either. I have to watch it again.
Because
But
there was some sketchy new dudes up in that joint. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah, there were some sketchy new dudes in there, but they didn't really seem to focus on them. They seemed to focus more on the folks
ooh,
from the
what about
past.
this? Why?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I see. So here's my thing. Here's my thought. Takamichi is the Naruto of this series. Like, it don't matter if you are an enemy of Naruto, you know, whatever. Naruto is gonna find a way to get under your armor and make a bond with you. He did it with Gara. He
Mhm.
did it with he especially did it with Sasuke, you know. And he's done it with anyone that's underestimated Naruto. He has not only proven wrong, but also built bonds with them. Takamichi's done the same thing. You know,
Yeah,
the only person Takamichi didn't really have to build a bond with was outside of his squad, his squad that rolls with him, is Mikey.
yeah,
Mikey basically saw his brother in him and was like, "Yeah, you're my friend now. This guy right here is a made man
yeah,
off break. He don't even have to be in the gang. This is my boy. You don't touch him."
right.
Like, that's when, and the thing is, everyone else that has dealt with Takamichi directly has been has in some way, shape, or form has not only bonded with this cat,
You respect
but
him some kind of
but
way.
respect him and always called him our crybaby hero, you
Right.
know. So I don't know with that scene if I was gonna say Kisaki was being sarcastic for calling him that because that's what everybody else called him, and he was just like being a jerk about it.
Mhm.
But the fact that he dropped the tear,
Right.
Takamichi in some way bonded with um, Kisaki through the years that Takamichi may not even know about. But um, in the end, what you call it? Kisaki basically, soul stoned him. Like, you're my boy, you're good, but I'm not gonna let you deter me from my goal,
Goal.
which is
Yeah.
to be the absolute head of Toman. So you got to get sacrificed. Like, I think he's straight Thanos soul stone. I think he's straight Gamora him, really. Um, so that's my thoughts about that. um I can't wait for the next season to find out, because I want to know what that tier is. I want to know why he called him my hero like that. I think Takamichi just doesn't have it in his heart to kill anybody. And I think they had some moment 12 years ago or within the 12 years where he basically thought he made Kisaki flip, or he may have actually flipped Kisaki, right? But in the end, Kisaki has this goal. Because remember, Kisaki deals with the issues of being, I guess, quote unquote, not seen, right?
Right.
Kisaki was tired of being, the person that didn't feel significant.
Yeah.
So he used his strategical mind and used people to build his way up to be more than what he was seeing at the time.
Yeah.
That's Kisaki's issue. Kisaki wants what everybody wants and not everybody deserves.
Right.
He wants power. He
Power
wants
and respect.
influence. He wants to be
Yeah.
recognized. He
Yep.
wants to be, he wants to be, for lack of a better word, worshipped and adored and respected and everything else.
Yep.
He wants to be what Mikey naturally is.
Right.
And the thing is, people like that, people that want those kind of things don't deserve it.
Right.
But Mikey never asked for any of that. Mikey just did his thing. Mikey was the dude that was rocking flip-flops and basically just had the ability
A
to
little
whoop you
moped.
on a little moped, and just had the ability to, had the legs of Warang from Tekken and had the ability to just whoop your behind,
Right.
and happened to be, younger than you, because he was taking out 14, 15-year-olds at like 12.
Bruh, like I'm
Like,
trying to think of a fight that Mikey even lost. I don't remember even when your boy
yeah, even when he
Kazutora
killed
was like
Yeah,
he
even when
he
he
was
killed Kazutora, technically Mikey didn't lose. The
yeah,
gang lost
right.
because, of course, he
He
beat him,
succumbed to
arrested, went to
the
jail or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like even when he was getting like hit with a freaking metal pipe. This is a 15-year-old. These jokers are jumping him. And
Hmm.
like all of a sudden he went Super Saiyan on him. Like
Right.
he kicked that man so hard, the other dude got knocked out, and his freaking leg busted into old boy's head, knocking
Right.
everybody out at the same time. And I was just
Like
like,
he picked up the dude with his left leg and swung the leg and that dude at Kazutora and knocked them both out
right,
and got the other dude off him. Like, I think no matter what happened, because I think the only reason he even had that extra strength was because he was determined to take out Kazutora, because he finally had to face the person that killed his brother,
right,
you know. And the simple fact that this dude is like, I killed your brother and it's your fault, so now I have to kill you, that would piss anybody off.
right,
Like, you kill my brother who was going to give me, you steal his bike. First of all, you're dumb for not even finding out who owns the spot doing the research, but you convince,
right,
not on you not only go in there, but you convince Mikey's closest childhood friend to go with you and set it up for his own brother to be killed. And not only did all of that now cause a beef, but you now got his childhood friend to back you because he simply spoke up for him in court. And now his childhood friend and his other friend, who helped, both of them who helped start Tomon, are now going after this cat.
right.
Really? Like, I would have gone Super Saiyan myself. Like,
Yeah, like because wasn't it? Matter of fact, that's what I thought about. So the fight with Hanma in the rain, where Draken was about to get shanked and whatnot. I was like,
right,
that was a really interesting fight because Mikey was like, it seemed like it was kind of like a back and forth. I was like, all right, Hanma can defend himself. Then a few episodes back from the last episode, your boy Draken was like, oh no, I'm good, bro. We can do this all day. They were going back
right.
and forth. And Mikey got done with everything, and Haman was like, "Oh no, we ain't done yet." And Mikey said, "Okay, bet." He put his tail into the I was like, I thought he broke his neck straight up because
Yeah, I
he
thought he broke
wasn't
his neck and
moving.
killed him. You're talking about the fight. You're talking about the fight of August 31st, right?
Yes,
Or August 3rd. August 3rd. Yeah. When he
dude.
put Hama in the asphalt, I was like, yo, that dude is dead. You can't tell me his neck isn't snapped from that. The hit alone would have caused that for sure. But the fact that that dude still lived, like, Hanma has an incredible
Tolerance for
defense, like tolerance for pain and defense.
he does.
Yeah,
He
but
he can take it.
and that because when Draken hit him in the bloody Halloween fight and knocked him way into some boxing stuff, like, Hanma was down, but he was just like, damn, this is about to be a tough fight, and just brushed it off. Like,
Right,
he ate that hit. He
right,
ate that hit. That's what drove me nuts.
dude. Yeah, he was a. Do you trust Hanma at this point? Because it's kind of like
I don't trust Hanma. I don't trust Kisaki. Only thing I trust is that Takamichi may find a way to flip them and bond with them, or what, and build a bond and then respect him, even for Kisaki. But I still don't trust. I don't trust none of them as far as I can throw them.
yeah, you really can't. Like, the only ones I really kind of trust is Draken and Mikey, and that's really it. And it's kind of like the funny thing is that Draken had a conversation with Takamichi and brought him to his house or whatever. And was like, "Yo, I wanted to kill him too. Like, I'm glad that you stopped Mikey because I couldn't. Like, I couldn't do
Yeah,
it. Like, I wanted him
yeah.
dead too."
He's better than me. I would have been like, do what you got to do, bro. That's your family he took out. Do what you
Right,
got to do.
right. And he's still sitting there talking about like, "I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna kill Baji." And
Hmm.
it was such a beautiful thing, like watching Baji, coordinate with the guy that ends up being his vice. Because I thought that dude was like really kind of complacent. I didn't know like this dude's a brawler. Like I was like, okay,
Right.
and then he came to know Baji, and I was like, okay, this show is what when I first started looking at My Hero, like I really love My Hero, not just because of the hero edge, but that they
Hmm.
treated every single character as important. And
Yeah. Yeah.
this
And they did
show
the same thing here.
does the same exact since episode one. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, his little crew is pretty cool. And then like things start to kind of spiral, and you start to see like, oh wow, like the edge of this show helps it so much because you never know who can die at any moment, who betrayed who at any moment, because everybody's human. Like
True.
everybody is,
Very
it can
true.
be succumb to circumstance because we didn't know. And the dude was like, "Yo, you got a whole family. Like, why would you do this? Why would you try to run me and my girlfriend over?" And then the cop found out later on, like, "Yo, I think Kizuki had his family." And we didn't know that.
Yep.
Like we just kind of like, oh, he just made a decision. Like, no, like he's under his thumb.
Yeah, I
Um,
missed that the first time. I had to go back when we went back and rewatched it. I was like, that's why Akun did it. Makes
yep,
perfect sense. Yep.
yep.
But I'll actually tell you why I really don't trust Hanma. Hanma called Kazutora.
He did.
Like that's the only reason Baji really died and got stabbed in the back is because Hanma called him and was like, "Yeah, it looks like Baji is actually a traitor of Valhalla." But my thing is, regardless of that, that's still your boy. Like, why would you go just stab him in the back like that?
Right.
But that's because Kazutora was over the edge.
Yeah, his mind was gone, and it was just weird because like the freaking other higher gangsters, that were a little bit older, they were just sitting there, just like, oh, it's another day. Or one of the guys got killed. It's okay. It's whatever. Like, but but I mean, in your opinion, I guess your honest opinion, your conclusion of season one, how would you frame this to somebody for them to be like, oh, okay, I might give this show a chance. What would you say to them to entice them to be like, all right, I'm gonna watch this?
Well, what I would do, I would ask them if they've ever seen. First, I was like, if you've ever seen Attack on Titan, if you've ever seen Naruto, and you understand the importance of building characters or having the ability to build characters, um you know and not just the main characters but even the folks on the side,
Right,
your Akuns and your Hinas and your Naotos, and you're able to actually build characters, storylines, and actually be able to connect with them, then you definitely want to see this. But if you've never seen anything like that or whatever, I would just simply say, Tokyo Revengers is a really compelling and captivating story
yep,
about a boy who just wants nothing more than to save the love of his life. But in doing so, he has to save all of his friends.
yeah,
And he has to strategically do it because he can go back in time, but he cannot go back beyond 12 years from the point he is in the present. So if
right,
he doesn't do something in the past correctly or that gives him the best outcome, he can't go back to that point in time and change it. But
right,
he has opportunities to correct it after that. Yeah, I would definitely say it's just a story of a boy who by sheer circumstance has the ability to go back in time to try to save the love of his life, but in doing so realizes he has to save all of his friends. And that to me this first season alone, like if they did this show in one season,
hmm
you know, and change the ending, or even made it like, maybe if season one was going to be like 30 episodes and it all ends up and we got one season, this
Mhm.
would probably be the best one season anime I have ever seen. It's a really, really good show.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that with the show, just I kind of, I mean, I was enticed by it more than you were initially. I was like, this feels like a show that is taking every character seriously. There's no limitations to what could really happen because of the time travel situation. Because, like I said, like
Right.
humans change over time through consequences. The slightest consequence could change somebody completely. And this show takes that and just evolves it. And I think that everything you said is on key. Just the only thing I would add is that by the end of this man that, present day is just this kind of loner 26-year-old, he may end up having to become a gang member. Like straight up like the most ruthless thing possible to change the destiny of somebody he really loves. And I
Right.
and I wonder again, I keep saying it, but I was kind of like, yo, I need you, Takamichi, to man up. I need you to fight. The more, even going through the whole season, like it was kind of leading up to him having to do that. He was having to actually
Yeah.
defend himself, defend others, be willing to get his hands dirty, be willing to get hurt. And I think even the was it the first or second episode when old boy was kind of beating on him, he was like, man, I'm trying to cure my what is it? What did he say? My weak heart or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And he
And
was like, we're not finished yet. Like, and you realizing that that's where Takamichi really becomes the heart of the Tokyo Manji gang. And
yep.
even here, although yes, Takamichi is the key character, even in this picture you've got up here, Takamichi is the only one out this whole group that is dead center and
Hmm.
facing you.
Right.
Now, yeah, you could chalk that up to being the main character of the show, of course. But the simple fact that if you look at it, everybody, including the person he looks up to, his friend, even Mikey and Draken are kind of off pitch. It kind of, if you look at everybody, everybody's kind of off center.
Right.
Everybody's either leaning forward or have a half step back. But
Hmm.
Takamichi is the only one standing there, straightforward, eyes laser focused, and basically he's the foundation. He's the one that keeps those guys together. He's the one really holding everybody else up. They don't
Yeah.
realize it until later, but he's the only one. Now, but this though, what we're saying about the show goes to the one problem I have with anime, but it's also one of its greatest advantages. You can't tell what a show is going to be just by the name, you
Right.
know, because even now I still don't understand why this show is called Tokyo Revengers, but
Right.
it's really something where you have to take a chance on it, or someone like you telling me, yo, you got to check this show out. Like nobody told me about nobody, I didn't just pick up Dragon Ball Z. Someone told me about Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up Naruto. Someone, I think it was the internet that was like, yo, you got to check out Naruto, da 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 da. You know,
Hmm.
but I still don't understand why the show is called Tokyo Revengers. But what I love is that you can't judge a show by its title, like you can't judge a book by its cover. That's one of the best things about anime. Anime gives you what movies nowadays can't, because most movies nowadays spoil everything in the trailer.
Right.
This will not only give you a name that really you ain't even sure what it is, but it'll even give you a trailer that will get you interested without revealing anything to you.
Right.
And that's what I love about anime, but at the same time, it's also one of the things I don't like about anime, because when we go on Verve, or we go on Funimation, or even Netflix, Hulu, which actually have expanded their anime library,
Yep.
you can't just pick something, you know, and be sure that it's a good show.
You don't
Like
know if it's going to be a banger or not.
right,
It's a
because
50-50.
even with Attack on Titan, dude, the fact that the way they gave you the twist and basically made you quit, I thought I
Quit.
was like, wow, if Sam quit, then and the thing was I had the fact that I had to watch it through and be like, yo, Sam, you gotta come back. Like I
Right.
didn't like it either. I was where you were because I was like, yo, if you killing off my man, it's a wrap. But the fact that I just it's that little decision, it's that little choice, just like with Tokyo Revengers. It's the choices Takamichi makes that affects things. If I didn't
Mhm.
make that decision to go on, we may have never had the experiences we've had
Not at all.
with Attack on Titan,
Not at
you
all.
know, until maybe even up to now, because I'm sure one of the guys would have been like, "Yo, we got to go back to it."
Right.
But I was like, "Yo, Sam, I know what you're saying. I agree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong, but we got to go back and finish it out. If for nothing else, we got to at least complete the first season and be like, yo, what's gonna happen? Because we can't just stop halfway through because the main character got eaten. It's a plot twist. How many times have we seen that? Game of Thrones, they killed off Sean Bean in episode 9, but then at the same time, Sean Bean basically dies in everything. GoldenEye, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. He basically dies in everything. So it wasn't hard to go forward. But the simple fact that I just couldn't leave it unfinished and look where it got us. That's
Right.
why that's why I love about anime, but I also hate it about anime because it's like it's kind of a crapshoot, but if you pick the right one, man, you'll get some experiences that you'll never forget, especially when you got a group of guys that we do that love anime like we do.
Right.
But yeah, Tokyo Revengers, man, is I look, I'll say it right there. Tokyo Revengers is right up there with Attack on Titan for me, Naruto for me, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. We're not going to talk about Dragon Ball GT. Screw that. Um, but it's up there for me. Seven Deadly Sins, it's up there for me with like my favorite animes. It's up there for me um, with Mobile Fighter G Gundam. It's right up there, like because of story and the fact that all the characters for the most part have great background, great development, get built up.
Yeah.
You know, even
Yeah.
with the little things, because nobody really knows all the details about Akun. Akun just wants to be a hairstylist. Akun just wants to have his own shop, you know, and then you find out, look, this dude commits suicide with faith
Right.
that Takamichi's going to go back and save
Save
everybody.
him. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when he does it, Akun now becomes the pawn to to kill Hina because his family is under Kisaki's thumb. Like
Right.
it's like you hate Akun, but you also feel for
You
him,
feel for
you
him.
know, and
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult for storytellers sometimes to do that. You
Right.
know, it's like, yo, I hate this dude, but I understand. Like, I mean, would I if some God forbid, but if someone was to take someone in my family and be like, look, if you don't go kill this person, they're gonna die. I'm questioning how I would be,
Right.
you know? So I
You
understand
can't.
Akun's position. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand Akun's position. I still don't like what he did, but I understand he was trying to, save his family. And
Right.
you could tell because even he was like, it doesn't work if you're not in the car.
Right.
Like, you
Yeah.
know,
I think even when I think about somebody as strong and like forthcoming as Draken, Kisaki got underneath his skin and made him kill somebody.
yep,
Presumably, probably threatened to kill Mikey. Who we don't know. We still don't know.
right.
But what I love about the show again is the threading of the web, because early
Hmm.
on, one of the first fights, of course, was with that crew that Pooh was supposed to get killed,
Right,
and instead of him doing that, he ended up shanking somebody and going to prison. And
right,
so, like, you find out what episodes later on, like around like episode 20 or 21, that Kizaki legit bargained with Mikey to get Pooh out early,
right,
all to spin the web that he was like. It's kind of like he put Pooh in that situation just to make sure that Mikey come back to him. Like that kind of threading from a story standpoint, it kind of be like, oh, somebody just added that in. Like, no, that's not a Marvel move. That's they knew what they were doing from the beginning. Like
right.
they have a whole web that we just can't see all the different threads. Much like we said the very last shot of this, we don't know. I mean, they could pull some craziness and it be like, okay, Takamichi comes back to the past, but he can't move forward anymore because his character died. And so he has to
Right.
change it. We don't know. We have
Right.
no idea what
It
they
could
did.
be, yeah, it could be that too. Um, and what I like about the whole thing with Pooh is that if Pooh died, his boy when Pooh died, his boy was pissed off and was going to go after my,
Mikey.
Mikey. But
Yeah.
even with Pooh surviving, because even that was Kisaki behind that. But
Right.
even with him surviving, Kisaki just adjusted the threat and was like, "I'm gonna make Mikey come. I'm gonna break a deal with Mikey to get Pooh out early so I can get myself in." Like this dude is like and this is why my thought is he has to die. Like Kisaki is the problem is Kisaki is an absolute point that will keep Takamichi from getting everything he needs. His true arch villain is Kisaki. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind
I
of like
agree.
Marvel's What If. You know, if Tony Stark didn't die in all those episodes, they wouldn't have what they had for that storyline. You know, even the one episode where we didn't see Gamora kill Thanos has Tony Stark alive, and the first thing that Uatu says when he comes to get Gamora is "Not you, Stark." like,
Right.
like Kisaki is a key point, and that's why I'm like, even if he shot, um, even if he shot, what's his name, Takamichi in the face, right, or in the head, I don't see how Takamichi could have gone back in time, you know, without Naoto. Because even when he went back in time when he thought he died at the train thing, right? Um,
Wait, hold up. I just
it
thought
was
about
remember
something. I just thought about something. Well, go ahead, keep going.
Actually, you know what? I just thought about something too, because he didn't know about Naoto. He got hit. I thought he basically got hit by the train and went back in time.
He did.
And then
He
when he ended up telling Naoto about what was going to happen, changed
did.
Naoto's
Yep.
lineage to become a detective. But when he
Yep.
shook his hand, that's when he triggered and came back to the present. So
Yep.
yeah, there is the possibility that when Kisaki shoots him in the head and actually shoots him in the head, he goes back in the past to try to change it. You know,
Yeah.
but at that point, you can't tell me that Kisaki cannot die. He has to die. Like, if you can get Takamichi everything he wants, including Kisaki on his side, and become head of Tomon with everybody, and get Hina, or even if he doesn't get Hina because he's in a gang, but he still gets everything he wants and Hina lives, you are an incredible writer.
Yeah.
Incredible writer.
Yeah.
And I can still see that happening. I
Yeah.
just don't know how he's going to tap into Kisaki and connect with him to
Right.
turn Kisaki from his goal.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. I don't see, because Kisaki, like they say, Kisaki is pure evil. And I'm sorry, it's hard to change pure evil, you know.
Yeah. Hold on a
But yeah,
second. Sorry.
there's no way you can sit there
What's
and
that
tell
now?
me that that dude can't die.
Yeah.
He has to go.
Almost.
Oh yeah, it's 4 o'clock, bro. My bad.
No, 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 no. You good. You good. You good. I'm gonna record this and well, I'm recording it now. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. But no, I think this is all really good stuff. But I just thought about that the symmetry is this started with Takamichi looking at the news article, seeing Hinata dying, then him getting pushed into the train, effectively dying, from dying, going back to the past. He changed it, and then he didn't die because he went back to the past. So I mean,
Right.
it's funny because the same exact thing could happen, and it may not be Naoto that is the catalyst anymore. We don't. We It's literally at this
Right.
point now. It's going to be hard. The moment that if he does get killed right here, the moment that he gets shot, and if he does get put back into the past, it's going to be hard for him not to immediately just try to kill Kisaki. Like he's gonna
Right.
have to strategize how to effectively set things in place so that he can come back to a safe present. Because now,
Right.
before it was like, okay, I got to try to save Hinata. Oh, I got to try to save my homeboy. Oh, wow. You know what? Actually, neither me or Hinata are safe now. Oh, wow.
He
I'm not safe anymore.
right. He has to. The only way I see this happening is that he has to effectively find a way to expose Kisaki to everyone, to
Safely without dying.
safely, to understand that, for them to understand that Kisaki was behind everything. And the revenge might be, the Tokyo Revenger piece might be the fact that the Tokyo Manji gang exacts revenge on Kisaki for them going through all that stuff, because Kisaki's behind everything. And they
Right.
may end up killing him, but in killing him, they justify, they do it, they also respect Mikey. I mean, not Mikey, Takamichi being their hero for saving them from Kisaki, and eventually he may come back and end up be the head of um Tomon. What I think would be a great twist in all that, though, is um if he doesn't get to be with because Hinata because of that, but also it may make him and Naoto enemies. Because
Right.
remember, Naoto is a detective. This dude is the head of a crime organization.
Right.
You
Like,
never know. Like, that
what
would be a very interesting twist.
yeah.
You know.
That would be bad, matter of fact, because it's kind of like at the point. Oh, thank you, honey. Uh,
Mhm,
thank you.
mhm.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the Kit Kats. Um,
Hey,
but it
hey,
would be
look.
messed up that the second season that Naruto has no recollection of who this man really is. The other thing is
Right.
kind of like you remember the butterfly effect, right? Like
Hmm,
how every
hmm.
time Ashton Kutcher came back, he's piling up all these different memories from different timelines. Like we haven't thought about the fact that your boy Takamichi, like he's piling up a whole bunch of different. Like how at one point, how do you gauge what is the best scenario? You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Like
Right.
he's
Well,
gone
I,
through
I
this
don't
so
think
many
he,
different times
I,
now.
I don't think that he's not gonna know who Takamichi is. I think he's always gonna know who Takamichi is, because remember, he knows that back in the day, him and his sister used to date, right?
Oh yeah, that is a
I think
fixed point. That's right.
that's a fixed point for sure. So he's not gonna not remember who he is. It's just gonna change the timeline to where because remember, him influencing to him to be a detective, and all that stuff is now a fixed point.
Mhm.
So he's going to end up being a detective. The question now is he going to change everything, that by the time he comes head of Tomon, Naoto is not going to know what they did together, but he's going to know that he broke up with his sister and came to be one of the most wanted criminals, or the head of a criminal organization. So he's going to have to go after him. That
Right.
would be an interesting, twist, and he may do it even more. He may do it even more. I don't want to say effectively, but he may put more energy into it because of what he did with his sister. Because remember, in the twist, um his sister didn't dump him, he dumped the sister.
He did.
you know so if I'm not mistaken, unless I'm wrong, him dumping the sister is now a fixed point. I could be wrong, though.
In I, I don't know because I don't know at what point in the past. I don't feel like we've
Yeah.
gotten to the point that he dumped her yet. Because one of the last things that he did with her was say, what did he say to her? They were talking about Draken and his girl because we didn't know that
Right,
Draken's
right, right, right,
girl is actually the sister of Mikey, which is so
right,
freaking weird.
right. that was
Um,
that was that was a crazy twist. So that might not be a fixed point yet, but
Not yet.
um
It
not
could
yet.
though. It
Yeah,
could.
but no matter how it could happen, whether she dumped him or he dumps her, he might go after him, just for the fact that, especially if he dumps her and breaks her heart and then goes on to be this criminal, you know, Naoto might just even more so go after him, but we
Yeah.
don't know. So the question really comes down to, can you actually have it all? Can you save your friends? Can you take out your enemy? Become the head of the gang you said you were going to be, and also get the girl. Because the thing is, if you're the head of a crime organization and you get the girl, she now becomes a liability.
So
It's a risk.
I think this goes back to the question that you initially you talked. Well, you didn't say it was a question, but you made a statement. Takamichi hasn't killed anybody, right?
Right.
And what do we know about the Batman rule that Batman always says?
Yeah, Batman
If
don't
and
kill.
when I do, that's it. I'm
Right.
done. And I
Right.
feel like it's gonna get to the wire where Takamichi is gonna get to be the head of Toman. Takamichi is gonna get an opportunity to take out Kizuki. But in doing so, crossing that line, I think that emotionally, he's not gonna be the same. And I don't know that she would regard him the same way. Regardless of how much she loved him, I don't
Right.
see I don't see this having a happy ending emotionally for him if he's going to be the head or lead of this organization because he's going to have to be ruthless. Like, there's
Right.
no way for him to survive other than becoming worse and worse, dealing with more and more death
Right.
and overcoming it. And I think that anybody that goes through the amount of stuff that he's gone through in this short amount of time, it's beyond PTSD now. He's like, yo, I'm about to settle this.
Right.
So I think by the end of it, man, it's gonna be a sad story. He's gonna save her effectively, but emotionally, I think that he's gonna have too much blood on his ledger to
To even
want
consider
to
being in a
consider being with her because
right, or anyone for that matter.
right,
He may end up being what Mikey became after Mikey killed Kazutora,
right,
you know.
right.
But yeah, but um at the end of the day, Kisaki has to go. And
He do.
I think the only way he goes without it being like you said, something that changes Mikey or traumatizing is if the gang basically takes him out. Because
Yeah,
Takamichi basically reveals that he's been behind everything and has irrefutable proof. If he can do that and they go after him, because he's going to be the central point of everything they go through, of
yeah,
all the people he's used to get there, even using Shinichiro's death, Baji and Kazutora's bond with Mikey, all that stuff he
dude.
uses.
That joint was crazy. I
Yeah.
think what would be interesting poetic justice is if Kazutoro ends up being the one to take out Kizuki. Reason why I say that is
Mm.
because like mentally, emotionally, he's so damaged. And what the whole point behind Baji was he was keeping everybody together. Like he was the one that
Hmm.
started them wanting to be a gang and technically Takamichi inherited that role. Like I kind of the moment that I found out who this guy was and Mikey told your boy to go after him.
Hmm.
I was kind of like, why would Mikey do that? And I was like, oh,
Yep.
as soon as he found that little charm, I was like,
Hmm.
this is
Yeah.
poetic in writing.
Yep.
Like the writing of this is just
Baji
insane.
basically passed the torch to him, man.
He did.
Yep.
He did. And I think that the recompense for that for Kazutora would be him
Taking
protecting
out
Toman and taking out because I mean
Kisaki.
that's the
Yeah.
only way that Takamichi would keep blood off of his hands. I don't know any other way
Hmm.
of I don't know. This and
Yeah.
Demon Slayer are around the same situation, like
Right.
to be honest. But
Yeah. No, I agree. I honestly, well, we know Baji's gone. That's a fixed point
oh,
now.
he's gone. He is
He's gone.
gone. It's sad. The
Kazutora
man
though,
killed
I
himself.
like this picture right here. I don't see this picture. If I had to predict it, we know Baji's gone, but I don't see them being where they are with Kazutora there too, especially if they got to take out Kisaki.
Right.
Kazutora may be the one to do it, but I still don't see if that would happen because Kazutora has been through so much already, having accidentally killed Shinichiro, having a whole psychotic break, getting himself back. And yeah, it would be justice if Kazutora was the one to sacrifice himself for
But
the for the
but
for
no,
the
you're
gang
right. He did
and
say
take
he was gonna try to make himself better in prison. He
yeah,
did.
so
He said he was
it's
gonna try to
really
reform. Mm.
right, right. It still doesn't mean he can't do it, but for him to go back to that, I just don't see that. I just don't see it.
it's a tricky slope
Hmm.
that it's so many different variables, you guys, that we just don't really know.
Right. But that's what
And
makes it great. That's what makes
right,
it a great
that's what,
show.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, Game of Thrones, when it was good, was the same way. Attack on Titan is and still is that same exact way. And now we've got another great show to add to that. To me, this was a 10 out
Hmm.
of 10 season.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely 10 out of 10. And I hope they stay hungry.
when and if it comes available on Blu-ray or DVD, I'm buying it.
Oh
Only
yeah,
shows that I know for a fact are bangers, I buy the
yeah,
physical copy anyway.
yeah. Because I still, I just can't wait to finish out my collection of Attack on Titan.
Oh
You
yes.
know, but yeah, I'm definitely getting Tokyo Revengers. Actually, what I really should do is get Assassination School as well. That one was really good.
So I didn't finish the second season. I only went through the
Oh yeah,
first
you gotta
season.
no, you gotta finish it out, man. It's definitely worth it. Um, but yeah, cool, man. Well, I honestly have to float, but this has been incredible. It's
Hey,
been
so what
good.
if I cosplay as this? Just roll around this.
Eh, you know what? You know what though? If I was to grab a if I was doing a Halloween cosplay thing, I would do that with you. I would do that with you. I would have to figure out who I was gonna be. I'd probably just be Pa or something, but yeah,
Yeah,
I would definitely do that with you. That would be cool.
yeah. I would just shave the sides of my hair,
Right.
and I'd be set.
Right. Get one of those look, you shave the size of your hair and get one of those wash off kind of tattoos with the dragon on it. I'd be like,
Right,
ah.
right. Yeah,
That
brother.
would be cool.
But
That'd be
yeah.
cool. Like, what up, Takamichi?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we got to bring Chitty involved. He'd have to be somebody for
Mhm.
sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, well, you guys watching this, hopefully you guys enjoyed our discussion about Tokyo Revengers. This was spoiler filled, so apologies if you didn't know. Um, and go and watch it. If you're on the fence and this didn't overspoil you and this enticed you to want to watch it, go and watch it. Um, we did do reaction to the last few episodes, and we're gonna definitely be back for this next season whenever it comes.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll be doing some Attack on Titan footage because that's gonna come back soon.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
yeah, definitely check it out. It's been a really, really good season. Most of it is on HBO Max. I think up to episode 19 right now.
Mhm.
But of course you can catch all the episodes on Verve. So definitely go check it out.
Factual. All right, guys, we're gone.